Hey YouTube, so as promised, I'm going to show you guys my going second Plunder Patrol deck. I took it to locals, had a lot of fun, and I want to show you what it looked like. So we got 3 white beard, 3 blue beard. I value these two the most because they allow you going second to put up plays, allow you easy access to Zeus, easy access to other cards to help break boards, and using their effects. Using their effects at times does not xenolock you, so you can go into other parts of your extra deck. And so, the most important, very important card, allows you to feel your discards. It's kind of like a salvage on legs. Allows you to hard make more very easily, and I value these are the only 3 monsters that I run as 3 ofs. And then we have the 2 red beard and 2 golden hair. Only 2 golden hair because as soon as you, a lot of times when you link or synchro off the white beard, golden hair is like my primary target. And then if she doesn't get banned from the graveyard, then you always have access to a golden hair. And so I didn't see the need to run 3. Perhaps I can be convinced to run 3 of the red beard, but as going second build, he's not a tuner, and I valued going into synchros, or going into my synchro, or just having the ability to synchro a link off and then get the extender straight from my deck right away. And so that's why I played him at 2. Now, as I said, this is a going second build, so I run a lot of going second cards. So we of course got the Panker Tops, and then this is going to be weird, but I'll explain it. Got the 2 Shadal monsters. Trust me, you're going to like it. 3 Kaijus to clear pesky monsters, pesky negates, Herald of Ultimateness, Moral Savage, etc. Then these hand traps. Now this is a little off, and mainly this is because I was lazy. I couldn't decide if I wanted to go just 3 Bells or 3 Veilers, and so to try to keep the deck as close to 40 as possible, I ended up on this ratio. And that's just, there's no other explanation for that. Comment down below a ratio you'd pick. Next up, 3 Nibiru. Very good, just between Panker Tops, Nibiru, and Phantasme. They put bodies on your board to help you going second, help you to get to your Blackbeard as soon as possible and start making your plays. And I think that's what this deck lacks the most. Just solid extenders that don't lock you, and that also put pressure on your opponent without expending a bunch of resources. That's what the deck really needs, in my opinion. Now, I only play 5 of the Plunder Patrol spells. If I had built this with going first in mind, I would run more. But since I'm going second, I feel that if I see that 6th card, it would almost always allow me to play, and so I didn't feel the need to max out on these. Plus, all of this is searchable through the engine. So again, I think that this is just the right number. Just as the out floods, they hit Dragon Maid Tidying, Chain to Imperial Order. There's Tri-Brigade, main exit, Poltergeist, main exit, and a bunch of other road type decks. Main deck that card, and I hate that card. Wish it were banned, but I didn't want to be stuck under Tikubu or some dumb floodgate. And then with the Spirit going second, and Spirit of being pirate, stealing stuff, the tactics and mind control. Again, just clearing the path, pushing for gain right away, putting my opponent in a very bad spot, and gain advantage using minimal resources. Now you're wondering, okay, but what about the Shadals that you had in your main deck? Well, we're running 3 Shadal fusions to facilitate that. You'll see in the extra deck with the monster I plan on fusion with it, and you're gonna like it. And then finally, just 1 trap. Since it's going second, I don't really want cards. I don't want to open cards that are going to be dead. I want every card in my hand going second to be live to help me break boards. And you can't break a board on your turn with a trap. So generally, If I need it, I'll search it, and then help me just to lock out the game. Extra deck time. Your Blackbeard, he's your primary playmaker. I like the fact that all it takes is at least one Plunder Patrol monster, so you can use in your bureau your Phantasme, a monster you stole from your opponent, to go into Blackbeard. Then he triggers Bluebeard, or sorry, he triggers Whitebeard, allowing you to get another extender to keep playing. And super important, 2 of each ship. If you play it correctly, you'll never need more than 2 of each ship. They're recyclable. Believe it or not, Black Eyes doesn't have to just get main deck monsters back to your hand. He can also recycle your ships. However, they don't go to your hand, they go back to the extra deck, but that's fine. Then of course you have Plunder Patrol Booty. Instead of summoning the ship back to the field, especially if it wasn't summoned properly, you can just throw it back to the extra deck, and you can do that on both turns. So if you don't need a monster on board, your opponent's in phase, you can bounce a monster from your grave back to the extra deck on your turn, bounce a monster in your grave back to the extra deck, and you just refill your extra deck, refilling the resources, and it allows you to keep playing. So when my opponents would wise up and make me go first, I was able to rely on Bahamut Shark and Toad. Really strong. When Toad tributes itself for effect, it allows you to get back a Plunder monster, and then you can use that Plunder monster to fuel the discard for your ships. That's amazing. And then Zeus. And the cool thing about Zeus is that you can hard make Mork, crash into something detached to save it, main phase 2, overlay for Zeus, and then wipe their board. And in my opinion, that's spectacular. Great addition to the deck. Shaddoll Fusion. El Shaddoll Noitalis. Now, if you guys play during Necros format, you know that she's amazing versus ritual decks. We just happen to have a meta ritual deck, Drytron. At 2700 attack, your opponent has to go through a bunch of hoops to clear off the field. But until they do, they can't use their ritual spell to get their monsters out of the graveyard hand. Obviously, when you Shaddoll Fusion, your opponent lets it go. You go Shaddoll Fusion, you send Dragon. Dragon pops their Tri-Brigade Revolt. They can't chain it because she prevents spell and trap effects that summon monsters. So the only way they can chain it is if their monsters are banished. So remember that. They can get around it, but all their monsters have to be banished. And a lot of times, the monsters that they banished are the monsters that weren't summoned properly. So if you pay attention to their banishes, you can really put the hurt on them with this card. And then the last 2 cards, All Mirage and Drag-Eyed Risen. Alright guys, let me know what you think about this, my going second Plunder Patrol deck. Really fun. I'm still messing with the ratios. I'm going to try out like a going first version next, but I think that I'm going to end up liking going second. I don't know how much longer I'll play Shaddoll Fusion because the format is just so weird. You never know what you're going to play. There's going to be decks that just don't go into the extra deck, and you'll just have a dead Shaddoll Fusion with no way to proc it. However, I do want to mention that if you open Shaddoll Fusion, if you open the Ship Shape Shipping and you happen to hard draw one of the dolls, so let's say this is your hand, you can actually fuse these 2 cards into Noitalis because Ship Shape Fusion summons a Fiend and the Noitalis is a Fiend. Or you could do it with any of the dolls. You can go into Noitalis with any of the dolls. So that's just something to keep in mind. Anyway guys, appreciate you guys for watching. This is ygodubk, and I'm out.